Hi, my name is Neil Burns. I am a medical physician. I am board certified in family medicine, and I currently work at Winter Regional Healthcare Center in Winter, South Dakota. I've been born and bred in South Dakota. I always intended to practice healthcare in South Dakota. I've always had a passion for primary care. I've had interests in surgery and some other specialties because my family has also practiced medicine in South Dakota, but I belong in a small town and rural uh, healthcare has always been kind of at my forte and specialty per se. So I started my practice initially with a very large company based out of Pierce, South Dakota. There were issues that just didn't really coincide with my biomedical ethics and my practice philosophy. So that did not transpire well with a focus on emergency medicine, hospital service, etc. And then it became to be too much of a burden on myself and my family. So I started pursuing interests to go back into primary care about a year ago. And that was basically when I was given by another colleague referral sources to say, hey, I've got an excellent company. This PX3 Medical said you should contact these folks and discuss options in regard to recruitment and availability for other clinical scenarios. Because, you and I have had a wonderful relationship. I mean, honestly, I was given your information by somebody that is held in the highest regard in the healthcare and spiritual care community within South Dakota, and she was the one that referred to me, to you, and and I would, she's somebody I would trust to no end. And then after you and I had initial discussions and preliminary discussions, etc., the basic communication was flawless. It was comfortable. And that to me has always been discordant with my practice philosophy because all I care about is the patient. I mean, I was born and bred to take care of people. And when you see behaviors and concerns like that, all they're doing is recruiting people to fill a hole, but they don't have training and they don't have background with the actual appropriateness of putting the right person or the right professional into the right hole or the right role. And that's always been a problem. And so I've never really had a very great relationship with most physician recruiters because they just they're there working a role, and most of them, in my personal experience, and this might be biased because of where I live or so, they continue to have insurance for the family and a job tomorrow. And I'm not trying to be jaded or biased per se, and maybe I am, but that's just the truth. Well, I mean, my initial concern was jaded by past experiences, again, because I didn't, until I was referred by a colleague to your company, PX3 Medical, I was not familiar with your company. And I'm from a state that is controlled hugely by basically two healthcare systems. All of their people are employee contracted folks that are owned and run and directed without basically, I don't know, supervision, without any sort of delegation of responsibility per se. And so my initial concern was, well, this is a private company. I'm not familiar with them. And at that point, again, this is post pandemic. So I'm thinking, well, I don't care. Benjamin Franklin very wisely said to do the same thing over and over again while expecting different results is the definition of insanity. And so I said, well, this is different. So let me try something different because I'm tired of the same result. And I'm incredibly grateful, incredibly glad and ecstatic that I did because my initial inklings, skepticism, cynicism, etc., were all just pretty much eradicated after the first time you and I talked on the phone. I mean, I'm old fashioned. I struggle with technology, but you were very accommodating and you were able to help me with some of the technological stuff. It was so easy because I mean, you're getting all this totally inefficient communication from all these other recruiters, but I never had that from PX3 Medical. I got direct communication from you. I got on the phone with you very quickly, and you and I had an instant relationship because number one, you're approachable. Number one, you're an incredible communicator. I consider myself to be good at communication. I consider myself an open book. And I never really had that. Everything else with all other recruiting companies I ever got was it was cryptic. There were subliminal components, and there was always a delay and an inefficiency in the communicative component of trying to figure out a contract, an agreement, etc. And I never had any of those hurdles with PX3 Medical. I would say that they, to the utmost, advocated in my best interest because, you know, you and I went back and forth constantly on a regular basis with that contract because it was kind of, it was a bit outdated. It wasn't quite what we wanted, and you were incredibly helpful. And so the fact that you were so willing to go above and beyond your role, you always could have compromised, and so could I, but you didn't, and I didn't. And that was hugely helpful to you and me both because I wasn't willing to settle for mediocrity, and neither were you. You were exceptional in everything you did to help me, and we had an incredible relationship in regards to longitudinal communication, whereas you advocated for the best interest for both myself and my, at that time, future and currently, current employer. PX3 Medical was hugely instrumental, and you specifically, Jeremy, for basically putting me into an incredible spot. I mean, I'm in a spot now where it's not only the job I aspired to and what I was looking for, but it's far better than I ever thought I could have achieved because the collegiality and interprofessional relationships between you, your company, my current administration, myself. I mean, this ended up being an incredible role. And I was looking for a job where I would just have a relaxed position and just be able to try to achieve a more normal life after going through full-time emergency medicine and all the problems we had through and after the pandemic. And now I'm not just in that, I'm in a position of leadership. I'm in a role where I have a wonderful interdisciplinary situation where I supervise nurse practitioners, PAs, and this is to a degree a component that wasn't necessarily expected. And well, if a different physician or a new physician or experienced or otherwise had any sort of reticence, I would just say it's not complicated. I mean, corporate America dictates all things based upon the principle of we're a business and we need to make money. And the difference is that these recruiters that work for the big companies that are definitively tied, affiliated, associated with a company that provides healthcare, those are employees that only have the interests of the company. The difference with PX3 Medical is that if you're not tied, and I will use the South Dakota example because that's what I know and that's easy, you don't have a direct affiliation with Stanford Health or Avera McKinnon, etc. That's different because your best interest is the physician, the medical professional, and the teamwork required to pair them with an appropriate healthcare entity.